Hey everybody, HeadspaceConnections back with another video. We're going to be continuing our book review series. This time it's going to be about autism. Now, as a system with autism, we feel like can be sometimes a touchy subject, especially with systems and comorbid disorders. But when we were looking into the different symptoms of autism and how it can be different from other disorders that we have or have very much other similarities. The first book that we read, what we liked about this one is it's called I Think I Might Be Autistic by Cynthia Kim. But it says it's a guide to autism spectrum disorder diagnosis and self-discovery for adults. This was the first book that we tried because when you look online and trying to find books, a lot of them are diagnostic criteria for children. Now, of course, I mean, autism's autism, so a lot of those things are going to be similar. But sometimes the things that are going to be more noticeable in kids, not going to be as noticeable in adults. So, now, page-wise, very tiny. Very, very tiny. It isn't very in-depth. Mostly what it is like different symptom lists, different like diagnostic criteria to kind of set off that you might be in the ASD range, and like traits in early childhood, traits in adulthood, and things like that. Things that even though you are an adult will still affect you because it is a disorder. It's not something that goes away. Realizing you have autism, what to do with it, different types of testing and assessments that you can do. And once you get a diagnosis and kind of that realization kicks in, what to do. You know, there's a grieving process involved with any issue that you have, especially if it's going to be a lifelong issue. And talks about how autism affects you mentally, emotionally, physically, things like that. Not very in depth, obviously, because it only has like 150 pages, no, 110 pages, if that. So, not going to be very in-depth. We're going to have another video that's going to be a little bit more in-depth on that. To really getting into more details. But there was one insert we wanted to bring out that we thought was really good. Honestly, the first time we read this, we cried. But it's on chapter 7 of this book, and it's called Mourning. Let's try to get this. Mourning the Loss. And as you can see, we highlight things that either are good to know or relate to us personally. But we kind of just wanted to read this a little bit, like, because with the details and stuff that it gives, like testing wise and stuff, it also gives like some more personal things by the author herself. It says, eventuality reality set in. Now, this one's talking about autism in general, but we felt like this could apply to, like I said, anybody with a disorder of any kind or any issue that is going to be a lifelong thing, something that's not going to be quickly taken away or worked with. But it says, this was when the morning began. Once the bright, shiny new "this explains everything" stage wore off, I started thinking about the other side of being autistic. I wasn't going to outgrow my social awkwardness. I wasn't going to wake up one day and suddenly have a balanced emotional life. The challenges I faced weren't imagined, and they weren't going to magically disappear. They were with me for life. This is me. This is always going to be me, forever. Talk about hard realizations. And I'm not going to lie, when we first found out about this, the DID and CPTSD, for us personally, that hit home for us because that's how it was. Like, first it was the, oh, this explains everything. Yes, finally, some answers. And then the realization hits like, oh, this is lifelong, you know? And that past this is where it starts going into like the mourning stage. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let go of all of that, the negative emotions associated that you probably had your entire life if you were like us. But keeps going. It says, as I try to envision taking away this or that autistic part of me, it became obvious that Asperger's was responsible for a lot more than what makes me weird. It's responsible for many of my strengths, too. Take it away and I'm no longer me. The person I was mourning, she doesn't exist. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you can relate to that, where it's like, you think you're one person for so long until, you know, you get something like that where you're told, oh, by the way, you're autistic, or, oh yeah, you have this, or, oh yeah, you have a trauma disorder. And it's like, what? But I really thought that even though it was a very short book, it was very well written and very well put together, because in this it also gives like websites you can use if you're wanting to find a diagnostician, making it realistic that if you do, prepare to struggle, because like getting a DID diagnosis, getting an autism diagnosis as an adult can be just as difficult too. So for those of you that think you might be autistic, would definitely recommend this little book. It is, we liked it, we thought it was good. This is what got us started into looking into it. But again, we will post a link if you guys are interested in buying it. We got it off Amazon. It wasn't that much because it is such a small book, but we'll post a link that if you want a Kindle book or get an actual copy, we prefer the actual copies ourselves, that you'll be able to get it if you want. We hope you like this review. Give us some comments, suggestions, or whatever below. If there's a certain book that you want to have reviewed, then please let us know. We have more in our library. We just don't have very many out because most of our books are in storage. But if there's a book specifically that you would like us to do, feel free to let us know. And we'll look into cost and if we will be able to have it done anytime soon. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.